Welcome to the NAC Education 2023 online program, Color Essentials, actual 4 modules, and we're actually now completing the last in the series, which is Blonde 360. My name is Robert Kovacs, Director of Education. I'll be your host, and I look forward to taking you through this quite intriguing and exciting module. So let's get right into it. So as I mentioned before, this is Color Essentials, Module 4, the final in the series. And within all of the series, we've covered off on absolutely everything in the NAC color collection to enable you to be the best that you can possibly be and have a full understanding of absolutely everything that there is to use and have at NAC. So Color Essentials, as I mentioned before, this is the final module, Blonde 360, all about blonde hair. The other modules we did cover off. Module 1 was NAC Soft, NAC Permanent was module 2. And then module 3 was Color Palette, that was fashion coloring. And that leads us to this module. So what will we be covering off with module 4? Going Blondes, the Ultimate Blondes 12 series, Booster, NAC Powder and Cream Lightener, Structure Complex, Toning Success, Color Shadows, and Liquid Gloss. So there's a lot to cover when it comes to toning, and we will share that all in this actual series. So quite an exciting one, because pretty much blonde is a lot of the work that we do in salon, including grey coverage, but blonde would definitely be a mainstay of what happens in salon life. So going blonde, why do clients love being blonde? Well, that's a really good question. I think it's quite an aspirational color to be. And I think for all of us, we probably have been blonde ourselves once in our lifetime. We do realize that it's a lot of work, but it is quite aspirational. And what I mean by aspirational, it's a bold and powerful statement. I think that would be really good words of describing blonde. It does represent youth and vitality. I think this image of our latest campaign shoot, our model here, does represent that youthful vitality. It creates a striking shade contrast, so really bold and really upfront. And I think I use a lot of celebrities as examples. So, for example, Kim Kardashian, Madonna, Lady Gaga, they've all been that platinum blonde. Marilyn Monroe, every celebrity goes that furthest mile. And I think for a lot of our clients that have gone that further mile, they know that there's a fair bit of care and maintenance. So it's not exactly an inexpensive color service to have done and maintain. It's pretty high maintenance, and there's pretty much a bit of investment that needs to be discussed with the customer. So in other words, they're not going to return to the salon every 3 to 4 weeks, 5 weeks to have their retouch redone. Then it's going to be pretty obvious. It's loved by many, and it is something that, I absolutely love. So full scalp lightening is a beautiful way of actually really taking a client to a very, very dramatic place. And I think it's really quite obvious. I think this image represents it really well. So this happens to be a very light type of result on our model. And as what you could see earlier, more subtle effects. I always say the less blonde a client has, the less committed, the less bold they want to be. The more blonde they have, the more bold and the more they want to stand out front of the crowd. So Ultimate Blondes, probably our first most subtle step in lightening hair. They're also known as high lifts. We call them super lighteners here at NAC. They're designed for a 6, 7, and 8 level, and they do have some limitations. However, they do have a lot of potential. I'm a fan of Ultimate Blondes. I'm actually, my own hair is Ultimate Blonde. Designed for a base level of 6, 7, and 8. They've got violet blue toners in them. They still work with the same principle of a tint. But the story here is really explaining the type of result the client can expect to receive, which is a 9 or 10 level. And I always show the client these 2 swatches because it really gives them a really good understanding of exactly what type of color result they can achieve. If a client says to me that she wants to be a warm, honey, golden blonde, then definitely consider the High Lift Blondes. And just to share what they actually look like, it comes in a tube. It's a NAC Permanent product. It's a 1-to-2 formula. And this happens to be 12-111. It's our strongest in the range and will achieve 3 to 4 levels of lift. Does have some limitations. It cannot be darker than a 6. Below a 6, you're going to see more orange-red. And this has got a violet blue designed in with it. So it's not strong enough to neutralize the warmth. So you do have to be a bit selective of the base levels that you're using this on. If it's slightly coarser 6, we'll talk about the Ultimate Lifting Ultra Lift Ultra Toning formula, which we'll cover off on the last slide. So there are some options that you do have for you. Now, if a client does say that she wants to be Arctic Silver Platinum, use powder lightener. I just won't actually get into the Ultimate Blondes, but definitely there is, I think, an opportunity. We've moved into doing warmer blondes in salon, so definitely consider using the Ultimate Blondes, especially in your foiling. You will get a little bit of extra lift with the heat of the foil. So definitely it is an option where it eliminates maybe a little bit of, not damage, but it protects the hair a little bit. And also too, you don't need to tone afterwards because you are kind of lightening and coloring at the same time. Now on a 6 level, we would recommend the triple ones. On a 6 to 7 level, triple ones or the double ones. So using a little bit less of that violet tone. Looking at the swatch, the result doesn't give you the result of the swatch. It just tells you triple one, lots of tone. And then as we're moving lighter, we're less tone, less tone, less tone. So on a 12.2, really it's not going to tone a lot. So we would normally recommend that on a lighter base level. So really pretty much your go-to with the Ultimate Blondes is going to be a triple one in most cases. Like with the 7s, as I mentioned before, you could use a lighter tone. So you could use your 0.2, your 12.2, your 12.1. So these are much lighter in their tone. They all offer 4 levels, so they'll all exactly end up 3 to 4 levels lighter. And I say 3 on coarse, 4 on fine. You're going to use 40 volume activator, the strongest one that we've got. This isn't a powder lightener, it's a tint. So think of it as a tint. Can only be used on natural hair. And again, so you've got your 0.1 on a 7 level, and then on your 8, you'd use your 0.2. Maybe not that often that you'd use these, but they're definitely great options when you've got lighter base levels, and especially fine, fragile hair where the client is saying, look, my hair's a little bit compromised, I can't take powder lightener. Definitely consider the Ultimate Blondes as an option. You've got your mixing guide there. You've got 20 grams of Ultimate Blonde shade, 40 mils of 40 volume, processing time for 45 minutes to an hour. In most cases, leave it on for an hour. 45 minutes. Just with this, apply the actual remaining. Don't apply it around the hairline first. I see this a lot done first, and the back's amazing and the front's almost blue, especially with the triple one and the double one. Around the hairline, apply that a little bit later on. I'll speak about that on the next slide. The Ultimate Blonde Ultra Toning Mix, this is going to tone the hair to the maximum. So lift and tone. And you're going to add your ash into it. So this gives you an idea of how much tone. So don't be too turned off by the ash. It's where my finger is. It's quite silvery. What it does is really neutralize, counteract a lot of the warmth. And then you've got my favorite. Now, this is really pushing the Ultimate Blondes to the maximum level. This is really good on very coarse 6 level hair. Your mixture there is 10 grams of your triple one, 5 grams of your booster. We'll talk about booster in a minute. This product is amazing. It's exactly that. It boosts the performance, boosts the lifting. Because booster's got no tone, you'll need to add 5 grams of your ash shade controller in there. So just with your color shadows, just add your 5 grams of your ash, and then again, apply it, leaving the hairline out for the last 15 minutes. Again, especially with this formula, if you apply that on very fine hair, it will go slightly silvery. So just be mindful of that. Processing time, definitely an hour. And really pushing the boundaries of how far you can lighten with a tint. Now, remember, we're still in the tint family. So with that, enhancing shade by intermixing Ultimate Blonde shades, absolutely. 5 grams of booster to enhance lightening control. So definitely consider adding booster. It will give you a little bit of extra lift. Ash or light gray. Now, light gray is much deeper. I would be a bit mindful. Start off with ash. If you still find that it's too warm, then use your light gray. Apply Ultimate Blonde to the darkest area, leave out the hairline and process for the last 15. Extend the processing time for an additional 10 minutes. So again, maybe considering on scalp, this is where this is predominantly used. You can also use this in with foiling. As I said, it's very on trend at the present moment for much warmer, golden, wheaty blondes. And that's exactly the type of result that you'll achieve using the Ultimate Blondes on your client. Now, Booster, now you've heard me kind of rave about this, and if you speak to any of the team, the education team, they will all say the same thing. Booster's quite unique. It's so multifunctional. It's a bit like an eraser as well. It boosts lifting. You can add it in with NAC Permanent to make it brighter. Where I like Booster is in with the Ultimate Blondes, it will give you extra lift, but more importantly, Booster works in removing a little bit of artificial color. Now, it's a tint, lives in the NAC Permanent color range, but we know tint on tint can't lighten, but Booster can. It's quite unique. This is where it's quite special. So if you've got a client that's got a slightly darker ends and you don't want to get into the whole powder lightener color removal process, Booster works really well in lifting half a level to a full level. It's also really good for whether the client's a little bit OD'd on your anti-yellow shampoo, that really silvery product that we do have. Actually, I don't have it in front of me. I've got Blonde Plus. It's actually over there, but that really silvery ends, and you don't really want to use powder lightener because you're worried about compromising the condition. Booster 30 volume on damp hair, leave it on for 10 minutes, and it will gently remove that buildup. Now on tint, it will remove the color. You probably won't need to color it. So definitely ask your educator a little bit more on Booster because it is quite unique. Now, Solo, it will give you a sun-kissed look. Blondes, for Ultimate Blondes, it will give you an extra half a level to a full level of extra lift. Color buildup, as I mentioned before, gold bands, go for it. Booster is amazing. So a 9.3 gold band, it will gently budge it out. Now, much safer than going back with powder lightener. Powder lightener, if you overlap, you'll get white bits, gold bits. This will only really work on the band, so that's where it is quite unique. Fashion shades, it will brighten the fashion shade, and you can see the formula right down the bottom there. It's got 10 grams of your 6. Booster, bit of red bright added into it, and then you've got your activator that you've got your formula mixed to. So you can see that it has so many multifunctional ways of being used, and really a good addition to your lightening and corrective possibilities and problems in the salon. So definitely consider Booster. It's also found in our manual. If you need more info, definitely consider our NAC manual. Ask your salesperson or educator. We can electronically email it to you or send you a hard copy, and there's a little bit more detail on these products. Blonde 360. So Blonde 360 really is our concept when it comes to a full circle approach. We have workshops which speak about skin tone and matching the skin tone, but Blonde 360 is we've got a product for everything. We've got a product, we've got a lightener for every color service that you can possibly see in salon. So powder and cream lighteners. So things to consider when it comes to lightening. Well, enhancing shade selection by intermixing. So make sure you do mix it really well. Use professional care when it comes to lightening. Time accurately, check client comfort. So see how it's all going. Do not use heat. Never push the hair beyond its limitations. Shield the hair by using Structure Complex. Don't overlap. Measure accurately. So no free pouring. You are dealing with an alkaline, you are dealing with ammonia, you are dealing with peroxide, which is an acid, so acid, alkaline. The real mixing, it's a real mixing formula, and you're actually altering the performance by not mixing it correctly. Don't use stronger activator than what's recommended. I know that can be tempting in salon, and so can heat. Now, what will happen is stronger will make the product work quicker, and you'll get a far more uneven result. So it's as if you've lightened the outside, but not so much the inside. So speed doesn't win the race here. Slower does win the race. So you also won't compromise the condition. Again, heat really accelerates the whole process, and you can actually create a lot of damage very, very quickly. So again, this is why we don't recommend this. And again, don't apply it on broken skin or hair that's being compromised. So just be mindful of how you're applying it. Now, I'm kind of saying a lot of warnings here because this is probably the most volatile, the most I suppose I don't want to use the word aggressive, but the strongest product that we use in the salon. So lighteners, powder lighteners, or basically known as bleach, can really create a fair bit of damage if not used properly, and that can be irreversible. So if used with the right instructions, used with the right focus, you'll get amazing results. It is a big part of what we do in salon. So let's speak about our first product. So premium powder lightener, so our Ultra Lift. This product itself is designed to lift 9 levels. It does have a blue toner in it. So a lot of powder lighteners will have toner, but this actually does have a toner. You'll see when you first mix it, or if you actually just spray it or see the activator, the peroxide, hit the actual powder lightener, you'll see red and blue dots. Now, they do need to be mixed really well. So make sure that you do mix this really well, because that's your toner. This will tone a little bit. Now, it won't take away from toning. So we do have a lot of our clients just use this on very light base levels and not need to tone at all. It does work really well. It is unique compared to any of the other lighteners. 9 levels of lift. We recommend it away from the scalp, so no on scalp use, only away, so only in foiling or freehand work. All of our lighteners are mixed 1 part powder to 2 part activator, and it says to mix into a smooth cream paste or consistency. Make sure that you do remix this one though, especially before you foil. So mix it out the back room, use a clean mixer or a swizzle stick, or if you're using any of those tools, or if you're using a tint brush, just replace it and then mix it again just before you do go to apply this on your client's hair, because the toner does need to be mixed really well, but it will tone. Processing time, 30 to 45 minutes. I don't think you'll need to leave this on for 45 minutes because it works really quickly. It's an amazing product, and it's a new generation of lighteners, quite unique. We then move through to the Star. Now, this is a true star of lightening. So Sugarplex. The beauty about Sugarplex is that it does have squalene sugar technology, and it also has amino acids. So it helps strengthen the hair, and it also, to squalene basically is a sugar. It helps reduce the heat and infuse the hair with incredible moisture. So you can understand that this is our most popular product. This is our #1 selling product. It lifts 8 levels, can be used on or off the scalp. A beautiful powder lightener to work with, and very popular. Very fast, but normally when it's fast, you think of condition or compromising the condition. Sugarplex leaves the hair in amazing condition. So it's very gentle, very quick, very effective, very moisturizing. It's a beautiful lightener to work with. And as you can hear me say, pretty much you could use this on all of your clients for your traditional foiling work. 7, 10, 20 volume, you won't need to really go up in strength and activator. It does work so effectively. So 20 volume would be obviously very strong. The strongest I would go, I'd actually suggest 10 and 20 as well. If you're foiling at the back, you may even want to drop to 7. And then by the time you get to the front, you can then change your formula to 20 volume. That you're foiling all the way through will be processed at the same time. It says processing 45 minutes. You won't need to leave it on that long. 30 minutes is probably enough. And as you can see, no heat and on dry hair. Now, this can be applied on or off the scalp. We do have a free hand powder lightener. So our clay balayage lightener, absolutely beautiful. Kaolin powder and guar gum. So this is really quite pliable. It's a true clay-free hand lightener, which is kaolin powder. And kaolin powder is basically a clay. It's found in a lot of masks, skin masks. So it's like a thickener. So what this offers is 5 levels of lift, very natural coloring, perfect for balayage work. We actually have a technique. We've got 2 techniques that support this: sun base and sun highlights. Very easy way. We've even got a board. So definitely look at our Blonde 360 seminars or online. We do have also a workshop that you can learn our technique on how to actually do balayage. A beautiful lightener for freehand works. However you do it, it will definitely perform to the way that you want. Now with this, we do say 20, 30 volume, but realistically on natural hair, 40 volume. Now you would have not seen me recommend such a high volume, but this does have that clay in it, which slows it right down. Now the processing time is an hour. It does take an hour to work. You want to do your cling wrap in between as you move through. So a really nice lightener. Some of you freehand work, some of you might use those foamy kind of not boards, but they're kind of those foam foils, I suppose. It's not really a foil. Works really well with that as well. So perfect as a lightener. Nice and thick, but it won't dry out. A lot of clay lighteners dry out and they go flaky. This won't. So it's a beautiful lightener to try. So if you've not tried it, definitely use it. You can see I'm a bit of a fan. I absolutely love our clay lightener. And as I mentioned there, the lowest strength peroxides, we would only recommend them if the hair's already been pre-lightened. So just more for a gentle approach. The mixing here is different. It's 1 to 1.5. So it's 1 scoop, which is 20 grams, to 30 mils of your activator. So the mixing here is a little bit different compared to the other 2 lighteners that I've just spoken about, where they're more mixed 1 to 2. This is now mixed to 1 to 1.5. You can do a 1-to-1 mixture if you like it thicker, or if you like it a little bit more thinner, a little bit more pliable, 1 to 1.5. I'm a bit of a 1 to 1.5 sort of person. I like it a little bit more pliable. 1-to-1 is quite thick. Then we have our cream lightener, and this is designed to be used on scalp. So it's got beautiful natural protective oils found within the product. It's quite it's got a bit of an oil base. It's quite thick. It's designed to be used on scalp, 7 levels of lift. The beauty here is that this is quite thick as a lightener. So it's very thick, the actual cream lightener. When it's mixed 1 to 2, processing time's a little bit longer, 50 minutes. It gives you lots of time to put it on. Normally, if you're using traditional powder lighteners like Sugarplex on scalp, you need to be really quick because it lightens really quickly. Normally, that's a 2-person job. This, you can relax. You can actually apply this solo by yourself and not take your time, but not be rushed by your application. So a beautiful product to work with. So your mixing here is 2 parts of 10 volt or 20 volume. I probably would use 20 volume. It will need to be on. It says 30. This is 50 minutes and the maximum's an hour. So apply to dry hair. Do not use heat, obviously. You can actually cap this. This works really well if you just use a bit of a shower cap. It'll keep the heat in. So it's perfect for your on-scalp work. Just also remembering, I'm going to segue to soothing fluid. You can actually add some soothing fluid into this. This also to help support that when it comes to lightening on scalp. So you can see that we've really got a lot of lighteners here. We've got Booster, which is quite gentle as a lightener, also to our high lifts, but now we're moving into powder lighteners, cream lighteners, clay lighteners. We really do have a lightener for all of your color services that you're doing in the salon and all of the needs that you possibly could have. And this is why we call it 360, because there's an approach for everything when it comes to NAC lightening. We've introduced a brand new activator. So we get asked this a lot and say, well, what's so different about this? Well, it's really thick. It's a high viscosity cream emulsion. It improves application lightening performance, especially designed for cream and powder lighteners, enriched with protective actives. So it really helps the scalp, but more importantly, it's really thick. So I know that I said before freehand pouring when it comes to powder lightener, where you really maybe a bit you want to make it thicker, this is the activator for you. So it's really a thickener, and that's what really makes this different. On or off scalp and maximum protection for hair and skin. What's inside is organic chestnut, white tea, glycerin, hydrogenated castor oil. This is also found in the cream lightener, so that's the same oil that we do have, and then orchid butter. So very conditioning, but also too quite thick. This is where we've actually brought this out. So we know that a lot of you like to foil and you like a very thick consistency. So instead of playing chemist out the back, use a product that's going to definitely thicken it up, but you're not going to compromise or alter the performance of your lightener. It's really important that we don't affect the lightening ability, and that's where the cream lightener works really well. So if you've not tried this, it's actually really quite nice. And the only reason why we have it in 10 and 20 volume, it's designed for our powder lighteners and our cream lightener. So a bit of a chart here from weakest to strongest, what it's designed for, performance, activator, and timing. So a really good guide. This is also found in our manual. So you've got a bit of a reference point in the manual on what does what and where to use it, what strength activator is recommended, what its performance is designed for, and its processing times. So let's get into toning. We've now lightened the hair. Now let's get into toning. So we call this the art of toning. So toning can be best described as the icing on the cake. I think that's a really good description because it completes the work. And I suppose also too, in today's modern salon environment, we do tone or gloss everything to make it bespoke, to complete the work, to finish the look. So I think it's really important that we do finish off with a toner. And all toners are not the same. So this is a really good section to understand, well, what does what formulas are the most popular, what should I use? Toning success, pre-lighten to an 8, 9, 10 level, really a 9, 10 level. Evaluate the concentrations of warmth. So is it yellow, gold, or pale lemon? It's really important. If it's quite light, it's going to be easy to tone. If it's quite warm and you haven't got the right level of lift, by putting another color on, color goes darker. So if it's a very warm gold 8 level, it's going to be a toned 8, 7 level. I get quite surprised when a lot of colorists go, oh, it's an 8 and it's gold. And if I put a toner on, will it go lighter? Well, no, color will just go darker. You really need to achieve a 9 or 10, that you've got full options open to you when it comes to toning. Use your reference chart. We'll speak about this. It's also found in the manual. Adapt your shade selection, application, and timing. We do get asked a lot, what one toner can do everything. Well, we've got different color in the hair, you need to use different toners. There's not one toner that can tone everything evenly. So if the hair's uneven, you'll need to use maybe a couple of different formulas to actually achieve what you want to, what your target goal is. Enhance toning longevity with maximum timing. So leave it on long enough. That's what we're saying. So kicking off, we've got, and we really do focus on soft color. These would be the toners that we would recommend. But to kick off, we've got color tones. They're found in our soft range only. We normally would tone with soft because normally the hair's open, compromised, damaged. You don't really want to be putting ammonia and high alkalinity on. You want to start closing the cuticle down. So soft color is a perfect alternative. You've got some strong tones there. So you've got everything from pearl, you've got your rose, your nude, and your amethyst. So you've got the shades there. These can be used solo or obviously intermixed within the whole soft range. Now, that could be your 3-2s, your 932, your 1032, your 901, your 1001. And your 921 and your 1021. So they're the three families. You'll see this on the next chart coming up that are our most popular toner. Now, color shadows with soft color. Most popular toner, look, if you're not really familiar with NAC Soft, even if you use half lilac, half silver, these are our most two popular shades to tone with. It's our most go-to shade. So we've got light gray, and light gray I'd add in if the hair was more golden and you needed to neutralize or counteract a little bit more warmth. But definitely lilac silver are great go-tos and very versatile. I think the reason why using half lilac and silver as a toner is so popular, because it kind of works. Now I'm going to contradict what I just said there. It works on everything. Like if the hair's a little bit too light, the lilac shows up a little bit more. It's a little bit more pinky, but it's a really attractive color. If it's a little bit more orange, a little bit more gold, the lilac neutralizes that warmth. So it kind of gives you an idea that it works on multi-levels. The result's going to be different, obviously, but it works on multi-levels. So lilac silver, to feed back to you guys, is our most popular mixture. But obviously we've got color tones, we've got light gray, and more importantly, we've got some different formulas. These are really great formulas. We've got subtle and intense. So you've got a subtle toner there, which is 1001 and silver. So again, in your color shadow, your 1001 is your steely gray. So your 01s are probably the strongest in the family. Like your 01s are really silvery, really steely. So you really want to see a lot of warmth before you start using an 01. Now they were popular. These were very popular a while ago when we wanted those steely grays, but now we're moving into warmer tones. Just be mindful that the 01s are really quite punchy. They're quite a punchy toner. But there's some really good formulas there. There's on a lighter level and then on a deeper level. So subtle and then intense. So obviously we've dropped to an 801, could be a 901 and light gray. Now that is quite strong as a toner. That's going to neutralize a lot of warmth. This chart I kind of like. This is a little bit more on trend with what's happening now. So you've got 832 and 21. These are so popular. So 21s by themselves are quite beautiful. They're a real cendré. So cendré shade, you can see the pinky hue there. That's where they're so popular. And then the 3-2s are really popular because we are doing more of these pearlescent tones. And 3-2s are like this, how would I describe it? Like a wheaty but cool blonde. So it's like a wheat vanilla, latte, but a slightly cooler latte, but it does have that ashy tone built in with it. So you've got a bit of cool, that violet-y tone designed into it, and then you've got a cooler tone. So you'll notice combinations, and there's a bit of lilac as well into the formula. These are really favorites, and that's why I'm excited to share these with you. We do have the permanent version as well. However, we would always recommend soft. Soft's going to help close the cuticle down. It doesn't have any ammonia, so there's no more further compromise to the condition of the hair, where permanent will open the cuticle. Also too, permanent, there could be the risk of base break. But for some of you that just have permanent, these are the formulas. If you don't have permanent, please try soft. It's amazing. So soft will be with 5 volume, processing time for 15 minutes. And definitely these are some great formulas with the 3 2s and the 2 1s. The lilac added into the actual formula really does take it to the next level. So beautiful toners. So please try them. You'll absolutely love the color results. So base break. So we now have a range called Liquid Gloss. It's a liquid demi, so it's not as strong as soft color. Last 12 shampoos, but it's really been designed for where the hair is natural, balayage. And we're doing a lot of this in salon where it's all foiled. You've got natural hair, you've got blonde hair, you don't want to shift the natural base. You really are concerned about shifting that. This is where Liquid Gloss really comes into play. So designed for transcend traditional color products and innovate for gentle coloring and toning. PPD free, last 12 shampoos, a term for every blonde, no base break toning, perfect for toning hair after lightening to refine unwanted tones, pre-lightened blonde hair, highlighted hair, and balayaged hair. So this is where Liquid Gloss comes into play. It's like a smaller bottle, 3 applications out of the bottle. Again, it's mixed 1 to 2. You get that pretty much almost everything's mixed 1 to 2 at NAC. It's got its own activator, so the activator looks totally different. It is a 5 volume, so we do have 5 volt, but this has got squalene in it, so it actually reduces the activity, again, really eliminating any risk of base break, so that's why it is quite unique. So you must use the activator with it because that will actually guarantee that you're not going to shift any natural within the hair if there's a lot of natural. Got a beautiful color chart. So there's a color chart that represents the whole range, and there's also to our color book. So you've got your shade selector. All of these are the blonde tones, and all of these basically are your fashion tones. So really a great color chart. It's got all of the tones found in the chart, and predominantly Liquid Gloss is more of a toning range. You can see on the 9 level that we've got all of the letters, and they do roughly match up with NAC Soft and Permanent. So for example, Mushroom 10NA, that is an 01. And it's very similar to an 01 in this category. You've got your naturals. You've got some really good names as well. Venus, Sunset. So it's got some really good descriptive names of the color. So Oyster, your Violet, so Quartz. So some really exciting names. And then you've got your fashion shades down the bottom. So for example, I need to look at my color chart. So Scarlet, Paprika, Saffron, so a real copper, a real, like there's Venus, which is a real violet and a real red, and there's some really nice natural browns. Now, if you are going to do a root stretch, I would strongly recommend your wood as a root stretch shade. It works really, really well. So don't be scared off by normally so many levels on blonde hair you'd be a bit conscious of. Definitely don't be conscious. This will actually give you a very neutral result. Go to Color Platform. I think it's module, it talks about Liquid Gloss, and we have, I actually do a demo on a root stretch. Actually, I think it's the last module in that series. There's also Rebecca demonstrates as well. So we've got something that can share with you on like root stretching and root tapping. And we really do focus on Liquid Gloss. It's an amazing product for that type of service, if that's what you'd like to create in a salon. Okay, so mixing guide. So 1 part to 2 parts. So it's 20-30, as I said before. Processing time, 15 minutes. Just make sure that you cleanse the hair. Use Prosty Equalizer. So to prepare the hair. Apply damp hair, process for that 20 minutes, 15 minutes if you don't want to process for that long. Normally toning's that long. Application, you can use a bottle or a bowl and brush, whatever you choose to do. And once you've processed it, just remove it with warm water, a light cleanse, condition, and then color fix. So use this little guy here to lock the color in. So Very beautiful service. Hair feels amazing. It's good on blonde hair. There's a clear in the range as well, a gloss that you can just use your Pure Reflect, which is the bottle's actually quite big, so it's a larger size, so you can gloss away, dilute any of the tones. Definitely get into liquid gloss, and definitely get into glossing. It's a beautiful product to add shine without any commitment. So that's the beauty about liquid gloss. So you can see the gloss there as well. As I mentioned before, the bottle's slightly larger compared to the rest of the shade family. So metallics. So this is a little bit unique. I spoke about this in our last module. And the reason why I do focus on metallics is because it's great as a toner. Not obviously, you're not going to do a hot pink, or you could do a hot pink, but metallics works really well as in toning. And the shades that I'd like you to consider are the deeper steely shades down the bottom. This is an amazing toner, and it's quite a strong toner. So if you really need to, I don't want to say kill, but neutralize warmth, the 9212, and then also to your 9001 down the bottom, mixed equal parts. Amazing. You can add clear with soft in it as well. So it's perfect as a toning alternative. It's a little bit stronger than any of the other shades. Now, if this is put on natural hair, you will get base break. So the opposite to liquid gloss. Liquid gloss, very safe, won't affect natural hair. This has to be solid blonde. So metallic dye technology created for you, so beautiful Pantone shades, 14 metallic shades. But if you are toning, where I would really suggest it would be more like your silvers, your sapphires, more of your cooler tones would be my recommendation when it comes to toning. So, and remembering that you can use clear and softer diluted as well, a much stronger, robust toner. So mixing, you can see the mixing guide there. Again, 2030 as the rest of our range, 10, but I would probably use 7 volume on compromised blonde hair. Processing time, 25 minutes. So like cleanse, do not use heat. Condition, use color fix and style as desired. So again, another different way of toning with our whole color collection. So talking about structure and hair and condition, let's talk about Structure Complex. Designed by Swiss scientists and really designed to really look after the hair condition, to really also rebuild the hair with the closest bond that's naturally found in the hair, the disulfide bond. As we all know, the disulfide bond is the major bond that holds the hair together. Now, this mimics that. So unfortunately, when we use powder lightener, we're creating damage, we break the bond. This replaces it artificially. So what we're doing is we're rebuilding as we're lightening at the same time. There's a bond builder number 1. So that's this guy. It's kind of liquidy. So this is the kicker in the whole process. This is the bond being replaced. And also to the number 2 is the shield. This kind of shields in the bond that you've actually infused in the hair. So these two are really quite important. They're professional only. And then the number 3 is more in salon or take home. So not as intense. It's got your full bond building capability built in with it. And the service really is 1 and 2, 1 in your color or your lightener or your toner. And then you cleanse the hair after it's been processed. Number 2, to actually bond build it in. Then you've got your number 3 to actually add enhancement and shine. So that's how this works. So just remember the 10% rule with this. So normally in your 20-gram mixture, because across the board, everything that we do tend to mix. And as I covered in the last module, it would be 2 mils of your number 1 in with your color. So that's the only rule that you need to remember. So take home, so we've got our shampoo and conditioner, and we've also got our bond enhancer number 3. So as I mentioned before, there's definitely take home products to restore hair, and really quite appropriate because on blonde hair, we have broken a bond, and in most cases, we've removed a bond. So Structure Complex is perfect as a take home product, and the shampoo and conditioner has the bond builder built in with it as well as the number 3 has got more of that conditioning feel. Quite often, bond builders can make the hair feel a little bit more proteinized, where this will soften the hair. So this is why we've got the number 3 as well. So enhancing color longevity, so looking after our blonde hair and keeping it well maintained is really important. We do have a range of blonde shampoos in the range. So we do have our intensive, so our Platinum Blonde, Blonde Plus, and our Blonde Shampoo. And I'll take you through, I've got a bit of a scale that shows you from strongest to weakest. So the blonde toning scale, and this is probably best representing from weakest to strongest. So you've got your blonde shampoo all the way at the bottom at a 4, Blonde Plus, which is a foam. You've got your Care and your Care range. Your Ori sits right in the middle. So that's our Ori Lab Organics range. You've got your Platinum treatment, and then we move into Rose. So the Rose itself has got a beautiful rose hip fragrance, and has got a stronger tone. It's pink, so it's really nice pink. Got Blonde Plus would be pretty much your maximum on a daily usage, and then you've got your Platinum Blonde, your anti-yellow, which really is more like a once a week type product. So your anti-yellow really is quite strong. So normally I would recommend that in with another product, maybe even Blonde Plus and your Rose. These are going to be more add-ons into your rest of your signature or Ori or Care products that you're recommending to your clients. So Blonde Plus, you can see it's got a tone factor of 4, so quite a pale yellow, great for brassy reflex. So good intro to using a blonde shampoo for a customer. Your foam, really good to take away. This is a little bit more easier to use. It's not too difficult as in result. Longer you leave it on for more toning, the less. Great to add in with a conditioner. That's how I tend to use it on my own hair. The beauty here is it's a bit stronger, a bit quicker. You've got your Care shampoo, so beautiful again. Ori Lab, really quite strong in tone, and then it has the beautiful certified organics. A little bit more caring and conditioning this particular product. So definitely explore the Ori online module, because it speaks all about the Ori Lab product range. So the cleanse and the conditioners and treatments. Your Platinum Blonde treatment, so you treat as you color. This is really good for a 2-in-1 for where the client's got quite compromised hair and you feel that they might not buy something to tone and condition. So this is like a 2-in-1. So 60 seconds, it's like our 60-second instant treatment, but it's got color in it. So it's perfect for that. Blonde Plus, Rose Blonde, this is really good as an introduction to pink for clients that are a bit scared off, it's too much. Definitely have this at the basin to have a bit of fun for those blonde clients. There's no commitment, shampoos out really quickly. And then your anti-yellow, now this is quite strong. It's a bit seductive all the way up at 8 with the toning scale. The toning scale is also found at the back of the bottle as well. So it's there. I know it's a really small print, but it's actually there and it will show you exactly where it sits on the blonde's toning scale. So in review, we've covered a lot off with Blonde 360, how to lighten, the right lightener to use, everything from our high lifts, booster, our powder lighteners, and then toning and our toning scale, each of the products from color tones to our color shadows, to great formulas with our 3 2s and 2 1s, and how to look after the hair, and then also to home maintenance. Make sure that you do complete the module. This is the final in Color Essentials. So congratulations for any of you online that have done all 4 modules. Or if you've just jumped on and seen this module, we actually have 3 other modules that support the whole color collection. Thank you. It's been my absolute pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you at one of our other online programs.